Hello everybody, it's Random Observer here with another video. Sorry it's been quite a while, but thought I'll post again. Today I want to talk about the topic of climate change, which I know is high on everyone's agenda. Everybody's talking about it, and again we hear the message that if we don't do something, the entire world as we know it is going to get wiped out in a few years' time. Now, okay, to the activists saying that, I've got to say, okay, I used to believe that when I was on the other side of this argument, that people were in denial, that they were just trying to bury what was the obvious truth for their own self-interests, that there were obviously political interests of the fossil fuel lobby pushing a different narrative, etc., etc. But there's another factor which I don't think any of us have really considered, and that is skepticism. Because, let's face it, for the last few years, every 5 or 10 years or so, we get told that there is going to be some catastrophe that's going to wipe us out, this catastrophization of everything, which is basically crying wolf, to be blunt. Because then, of course, when something really happens, we're not ready for it. So I'll give you an example. Those of us who are around in the year 2000, remember the Y2K scare? Basically, we were told that because of the computer cycles in the various microchips and various electrical devices, that everything was going to shut down come midnight in the year, when the clock struck midnight in the year 2000. Everything was shut down. There will be, quote, chaos and confusion. People had said it was basically an apocalyptic scenario. So anyway, the clock struck midnight, nothing happened. And again, you look back in history, it's exactly the same thing. In the 1970s, social scientists said that by the year 2020, the world will be massively overpopulated, the skies will be full of smog, etc., etc. Okay, we're now in the 2020s, and the birth rate, certainly in the West, is declining, not increasing. Well, certainly in my country. So, and we're not as overpopulated as the social scientists predicted, and the skies are, okay, not entirely safe, but they are not absolutely smog-ridden, because there are safety protocols that have been put in place to stop that. So, again, another thing that didn't happen. 1990s, and it just keeps coming, unfortunately, folks. 1990s, we were told that CFC, chlorofluorocarbon emissions, were going to destroy the ozone layer. We were going to be completely exposed to the sun's radiation, and we were going to be absolutely fried by this. It was basically a doom-to-the-day scenario again. But again, well, we're still here, folks. CFC production was slowed down or basically stopped altogether. Well, brought within acceptable levels, shall we say. The ozone layer, yes, okay, there is a hole in the ozone layer, but apparently I believe it was getting smaller and not bigger last I checked. So it's not completely destroyed. But my point here is that the catastrophe, the doomsday scenario that everybody, the doomsayers keep predicting, has not happened. We're still here. Every 5 or 10 years we get told this, and people are just fed up. That's the thing you haven't realized. It's not just that the fossil lobby are telling us, no, you've got to keep consuming fuel. Yeah, of course they're going to say that. They always say that. But people are just fed up with being told that, oh my goodness, the world's going to end. Everything's going to die. We're all going to be destroyed. We were told this again and again with viruses. Before COVID-19, again, there was the bird flu, the swine flu, Ebola. In every case, we were told this terrible disease is going to swamp the entire world. It's going to take over. There's going to be this massive pandemic. The media basically implied that everyone was just going to keel over and drop dead. And of course, well, it's years later and we're still here. So again and again, we get proven wrong. Even COVID-19 itself, yes, okay, the mortality rate was higher than normal viruses, but again, most of us are still, obviously, it's tragic for the people whose lives are lost. It's always tragic when lives are lost. But the rest of us are still here. So can you see why people get skeptical? It's like the boy who cried wolf and said, oh, there's wolves coming, there's wolves coming. Oh, right, said that shepherds and farmers, right, we've got to be ready for them. And of course they weren't there. And he kept doing it until, of course, when there was actually, the wolves did come, of course, he wasn't believed. And it's that danger. There is this catastrophization of everything. And because of it, the average person just gets fed up. Added to which, of course, people have got bills to pay, and bills ain't going to pay themselves. And that's and okay. We are told that there's this imminent catastrophe that's going to wipe us out. But can you see this from the ordinary person's point of view? We can't see that. All we see is the same sad story that's gone on for decades and decades. We're gonna all gonna die. We're all gonna get wiped out again and again and again. And people are fed up, and they've got other things to worry about in front of them. So anyway, that's my rant for today. But that, I hope, will go some way to explaining why there is such resistance to the doomsday scenario on climate change. We know there is a problem. It's not denial, to be clear. We all know there is a problem with our climate. We all know that we've got to do more to preserve the earth. But we are skeptical about the scale of the problem. And I personally, I believe there's a way of stopping. I don't believe it's going to wipe us out. I think we're going to adapt. We'll find ways around it. We'll find ways to adapt, etc., etc. Anyway, that's my perspective for today. Feel free to comment and subscribe, and I'll speak to you guys soon.